Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sombodhi and I run an organization called Aakar. So, right. So, rags, bark of a tree, sand, ash, what are these items or what's common between them? Around 300 million women in India use these to address their menstrual issues. Just to put things in context, that's the entire population of US and greater than the entire women population of all the EU countries put together. What's essentially wrong with this? Almost everything. Leads to fatal diseases, leads to around 5 years of productive life being lost for a woman, and high levels of school dropout and severe forms of disempowerment. But why is this happening? There's a huge lack of awareness and cultural taboo which exists in the society. Apart from that, affordability and the present distribution model of kirana stores run by male shopkeepers are a problem, along with disposability. Aakar aims to replace dirty rags with healthy, affordable, low-cost sanitary pads which are hygienic and biodegradable with rural people as well as urban consumers. So we're essentially replacing these with Chain, which is our brand of low-cost pads. It's an indigenous pulp-based sterilized biodegradable sanitary pads which are produced by rural women in production units owned and run by them. With this one single project, we are addressing 6 of the 8 Millennium Development Goals out there. So what's the big deal about it? This is some of the comparative pricing of the cheapest products which are available by the MNC brands. Mind it, these are MRPs. In the villages, most of the times the MRPs don't sell. They have a traditional supply chain model by male shopkeepers, as well as the availability and awareness is extremely low. That's where we come in. We have units localized in rural areas, which is owned and run by SAG women. Through the product, what we're doing is we're addressing employment issues through livelihood, as well as what we're doing is we're creating a product for the woman, made by the woman, and sold through a woman distribution network. How did we start? We have so far done around 4 pilot units in Uttarakhand and Haryana. And the basic purpose of doing these pilots has been to understand the business model. We have had different business ownership models. We have addressed issues on the raw materials to be used, the technology to be used, how exactly to scale, what are the different kind of challenges which are faced. And based on that, we have actually refined our business model. We have refined the raw materials that we use. We have refined the technology that is being used. And we have set out standard product procedures, as well as we have come up with the particular way in which we want to scale up and how to do community awareness as such. So implementing our learning, the first thing that we realized is like in this particular space, there are existing technologies, but none of them were good enough. We have actually studied these technologies across India, as well as some of them across the globe. And they weren't addressing the issues. So we have now come up with our own version of a machine which addresses this issue. It's a low-cost one, and it has higher capacity of production per day. It also is something which is able to work in very minimal amount of energy, as well as embeds the designs of branded pads into it with higher capillarity forces. Just to tell you about the product as well, this machine can actually be used to produce other items in the similar product category, and it's just a mere extension of this technology that can do that. Right. So when we were initially working with our pilots, the focus was very simple. We wanted to work with the technology part, and we wanted to work on the raw material supply chain. But what we eventually realized is that that is not going to address the issue. That's not going to make the change that we want to see. And eventually we evolved into a hybrid model where the social arm is responsible for these aspects and the commercial arm is responsible for these kind of aspects. The refined business model looks like this. We do collaboration work with the last mile league is usually done with collaboration with NGOs, SAG federations, or self-help groups directly. They set up their production units where the production happens, and the sales force is primarily the majority of the portion of the sales happen through SAG federations. Apart from that, ASHA workers and institutional sales, which we try to facilitate through various schemes. The existing distribution model which currently is there for the MNC brands, which typically looks like this. 70% of the product cost is between here. What we do is like we do localized production and localized sales directly. So what that essentially does is like it reduces the cost for us. We are a capex heavy model, an OPEX heavy model where the operating costs are higher because we are using a lot more labor. However, what we are doing is like we are changing the entire thing by reaching them at the place that they need. Just a unique snapshot based on the existing technology or the machine that we have come up with. Approximately 11 women get direct employment in each of these units. They earn around 2,000 rupees per month on an average by working 4 hours a day. Apart from that, they are also able to generate a profit and will be getting a share of the profit depending on how they decide to operate. 6 to 8 women typically are involved in the sales process. 5 to 8 women typically are involved in the sales process where they get commission-based sales revenues. The machine is currently being priced around 2.5 lakhs and it is able to recover its cost within 24 months. The customer pays around 2 rupees per pad, get access to it through trusted sources as well as through assured quality which we assure. The USP of our product, there are quite a lot of USPs we would like to believe, but apart from that, the new pad that we are coming up with has a higher absorption and retention capacity, has greater capillary forces in it. 85% of the material that we are currently using is biodegradable and it's 40% cheaper. What we are also doing is we are investing significantly in building alternate fibers and materials with which pad can be produced. Now this is currently in the development stage and this will make the pad 25% cheaper than what it is at present. Also, it will make the pad 100% biodegradable, which we still haven't been able to address to an extent. What makes us scalable as a business? We have specialist teams which we have come up with over the last 3 years and that we have invested. We have standardized our processes as such. We are operating in a hub and spoke model of distribution. We are doing centralized procurement and we are also trying to do institutional facilitation for these women communities so that they are able to afford these machines and we do not have to necessarily subsidize them all the time. Just explain the hub and spoke model briefly. This is how it would look. This is the current business pipeline that we have, around 650 machines to be deployed in the next 5 years. These are more or less contracts which have already been signed or are in the advanced stages of being signed. Most of them are already signed. There's around 650 machines to be deployed in the next 5 years, at least. We are wanting to increase the number much more than that. And this is going to be across 5 different states in India and 3 different countries outside of India. The social impact that we are looking at delivering, we have huge numbers to talk. There are 5.7 million women gets access to quality affordable hygiene. Around 10,000 women get direct employment to these units that we are going to set up. Around 100 million INR to be generated as extra income for them. And then these are some of the other numbers which are. Now, are we qualified to deliver this as a team? So we believe we have a great team in place. We have experience from different and diverse sectors. We have experience in rural innovations. We have experience in livelihood. We have experience in terms of operations, management, finance, rural marketing, micro enterprise development, as well as community-based awareness, mobilization, and research coming to the area. We also have a significantly strong board of advisors, which we try and leverage on. They are some of the people who are there with us, helping us out throughout our journey. Some of the collaborations that we have done so far, and there are many more. I can find space right there. So the projected financials, this is how it looks over the next 5 years time. There are lots of numbers there. So some of the things I would like to highlight is we are trying to break even by the third year, and currently the funding shortage is around 23 lakhs this year and 30 lakhs actually spread over the next 2 years time. This is only operational cost as such that we need to be invested in, and all the figures over here are in Indian rupees. The total funding needed for us is 23 lakhs this year, which is a shortfall, mostly into operations cost and HR cost. Next year we are going to set up our production units for the pulp as such. So there will be significant capex investments there, and that's where we will need some of the money. We are also looking at raising funding to complete the research and product development in the pulping side. We believe that this is a patentable technology. We have already sought advice on this, and we believe that once we are able to get this done, we will have a very, very significant advantage of doing this across the globe. So this is basically the ask that I have, and I would like to invite any questions.